Hey guys, it's Leesh, and welcome to another episode of Car Confessions. Guys, listen, last week, if you listened to my Monday episode, you know that I shared why I didn't actually have a Car Confessions last week. I was one of the many that suffered from the Verizon outage, and so I record this on my phone and, no service. What can I do? So, that was crazy, but I'm back. I hope you guys are doing well. What's been going on? Um, I'm actually stuck in traffic. If you can see me here on YouTube, I'm just kind of like slowly moseying on here, but, it's freezing here in New York City. I mean, freezing. And, just trying to, make the best of it. And these are the times, this is always the time when I'm ready to just up and leave New York. The winter in New York is on another level. And I know some people might be like, oh, well, you're still there. I mean, that's one. And listen, to that, I say, you're right. I mean, there's no arguing that. This has been 20 plus years of me, dealing with this, but, you know, nevertheless, I'm still here. But but still, winters here are rough because it's just you're just trying to just get through the day to day here, and that's a lot. Like you just don't get into your car and just kind of like mosey on to life. No, there are things that are going to happen. There are crazy people on these streets. I mean, if you've been listening to Car Confessions long enough, you know that I'm constantly talking about the craziness of just driving here and just living in New York. And I still love it. I still love being here. So I mean, what can I say? But yeah, the winters are pretty rough here. I try my best to not go out as much. Uh, I did go out last weekend with some really good friends of mine. It was great to see them. But normally, I'm not out in these streets because it's cold. January is like it's a very rough month here. So all that to say, guys, it's cold. I'm back, and I hope you guys are doing well, guys. What? Like we live well. For those of us that live in the United States, we live in probably one of the craziest places on the planet. Um, and here's the thing. I mean, there's so many things happening, right? Like I'm recording this today. It's Wednesday, January 21st, and it's a lot going on. You know, a lot going on. Uh, this whole thing with the Epstein files. That's a thing, and I'm. Oh, come on. Why did that happen? Why? For real? Well, I lost a little connection there, guys. So sorry about that. But yeah. I mean, these Epstein files, like that's a thing. And here's my thing. I mean, I think I'm at the point now where it's like we have been exposed to so many things. And so many things have been shared to us. And granted, not all the things have been, shared by way of the Epstein files. But I think for me right now, this is just Leash, and you don't have to believe in this or agree with me, but this is just me. I feel like at this point, I think we've been shown enough to know that these people are criminals, right? We know our president's a criminal. We know he is like literally the worst. And many of the people around him. My thing is at this point, something needs to be done, because it's like, okay, you keep revealing more and more what's in these files, and fine, listen, if you need to see them all to be convinced, that's a little scary, but like, whatever. I feel like there's enough information, enough evidence to move forward with something, because at this point it's like, it's like a TV show at this point. It's like, oh my gosh, did you hear this about the files? Did you know that about the files? But it's okay, that's great, but this is not some saga that's being played out on NBC. Like, this is real life. These are people's lives that have been affected, that are affected. And you know, I just I just don't understand how that we are just waiting for more information from the files as opposed to wanting to shut this shit down and prosecute people. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's a thing of like, okay, we get more information and that creates more of a damning case. Maybe, right? I don't know. But I do feel like in many ways it's a lot of um, shock value entertainment, if that makes sense, that's happening, as opposed to things really getting done and people being held accountable and folks feeling like justice is being served. That's just me. But yeah, I mean, we could talk about these files till we're all blue in the face. Um, but until something is done, and I'm a person about action, it's like, how many times can we talk about this? What's being done? What's being done, you know? So yeah, so there's that. But what's this thing? And this is one of the things I was like, huh? I need more information on this, but I just have to kind of like talk this out in a way. But now there's this whole trend that I've seen. This is on TikTok that I've seen, so you might not even know about it, or you may know about it. But this whole thing where apparently there's a decent amount of white women leaving their husbands. Have you guys heard about this? Um, and I'm assuming it's just here in America. And I mean, there's various reasons that have been told as to why these women are leaving their husbands. Obviously, political indifference, domestic violence things, abuse, um, and just not feeling like they're being treated fairly, whatever. And I'm pretty sure there's more reasons to why folks are just, chucking up the deuces to their husbands. But I guess for me, and maybe because, I'm a lesbian and I'm also a very strong woman in terms of like how I operate and what I'm going to deal with and what I'm not going to deal with. But I'm wondering, right? Because as you hear this, like, you know, you know, boatloads of white women are, leaving their husbands, blah, blah. And I'm like, is this a trend? Or, and maybe that sounds ignorant, but like, I'm being so serious. Like, how is it that all these women have like just, I guess, like, woken up and was like, yo, this man's trash. Actually, my man's trash too. Let's all get together and just, chuck up the deuces. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that looks. Once again, guys, I didn't really look too much into this, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. And maybe there is some energy that's out and about where it's just giving people this, giving these women the strength, and they feel empowered to just do this. I don't know. I don't know, guys, but it's just very interesting to me because when you think of, especially when I think of white women, I'm always thinking about white women from like where I'm from in Indiana. Uh, because a lot of people that I went to school with, that was like a goal. It was like, you know, after you get out of school, you might go to college, or you do go to college. But the overall goal was to get married, have kids, possibly get some little, get a cute house in the subs, and live your best life. Um, And so a lot of women that I knew, or girls back then that are now women, that was the goal. That was, you're aiming to eventually be a mom and be a wife and all that. Um, but then I guess like not understanding all of the things that come with that, especially if you're not in a supportive relationship. Um, and that's another thing too. It's like I'm wondering, because it's like this emphasis on white women, right? Is there more domestic violence that we have never really been told about that happens in this community? I don't know. I'm being so serious. I really don't know, because I'm not going around asking white people about their marriages, because it's not my business. Oh my gosh, looking at the East River here, this is some total ADD shit right now, but look like there's like little whirlpools in there. And that's the thing about rivers. Sometimes you have to be careful, because there's like these little random little like currents. I guess you would call them whirlpools. I don't know, but that's scary. Anywho, um, yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. But like I said, it's interesting because even when you think about marriage in general, listen, I'm married. I'm married to a woman, totally unconventional-ish. We've kind of gotten back. I think we're a bit more. It's more common, obviously, now than before. But when I think about, or when I thought about marriage, even before I thought about marrying, my wife, or just, thinking about being married to a woman or just whatever, when I thought about marriage, I thought about being married to someone that I enjoyed, that I liked, that I could tolerate living with, and beyond tolerate, like enjoy living with them, and someone that's my friend, that I can go places with and do things with and have experiences with. Um, and so a lot of that was put into, or I put that into what I wanted for marriage. And I'm saying all this to say, I wonder if other people do that. Like, is that a part of the framework? Like, are you saying these are the things I need out of a partner? These are my non-negotiables. We can negotiate on some of this, but these are my non-negotiables, right? Like, I cannot be with someone, I'm just making up stuff, that, cuts their toenails and just leaves them everywhere. I mean, that's just me making up shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like, are people really thinking about what they want in a marriage? You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, oh, he's cute, or she's cute, or we went to the same high school for X amount of time, or our parents want us to be together, or whatever that looks like, right? And like, this is like no judgment on anybody's part. It's just, I'm just wondering, like, do people think about this? Because the reason why I'm asking is because I wonder if a lot of it is for, appearances. Like, we're getting married because, you know, we quote unquote look good together, or we're getting married because our social circle is expecting that of us, or whatever, right? As opposed to making this decision based off what you want in your own life. Because I think that's another thing that it comes down to. And maybe this is the mass exodus of white women chucking up the deuces. It's like, I'm not living the life that I want to live. Like, I have been living by way of what society has been telling me, my family, my friends, my community, whatever. And now I'm done with that. I don't know. I'm assuming that's what a lot of this is. Um, and like I said, assuming, I'm not sure. Uh, but it's just interesting when you think about that. There's possibly a mass exodus of folks out of marriages for whatever reason. Um, and then when I think about this too, it kind of like really saddens me in a way. It saddens me, and it also gives me some joy, if that makes sense, because for a long time, you know, Black people have been put in positions to feel and think, or made to believe, I should say, are made to believe that white folks have the perfect framework, and basically they're the template of what marriages should look like, you know? And this might not be for every black person. So let me not say that. From where I grew up, how things were presented in many ways, even though my parents were married, and my father unfortunately passed away, but they were, happily married. Um, so it's wild. But when you see things in society, and you see the traditional family and all this, and I grew up in the '80s, so it's like all that picket fence bullshit, and um, you see all this stuff where it's all these perfect families, and even families that where they broke off, someone got divorced, whatever it is, but then they came together and found another person that would love them and their children and blah blah blah, and now they're this beautiful blended family, right? And you don't know anything about why they left the other people. All you know is now things, they had another family, but now they're a beautiful blended family and done, right? So it's interesting to see that. And like I said, it's in a way, like I said, it provides some type of like, oh, you guys also have problems, you know? And it's not to say this in a way of like, ha ha ha, you have problems, let me make fun of you and laugh at you, but it's like, oh, for so long you guys have been keeping up this facade and this mask, like everything's so perfect in your quote unquote white world, but realizing that y'all have problems just like everybody else. And for that, I appreciate this whole white women mass exodus, because it gives people, or it gives these white women also, I guess like an like the ability to feel validated in their feelings. Because it's one thing when one person does it and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I thought you guys were the perfect couple, what happened? He seems like such a cool guy, why would you leave him, or whatever? You had the best life, you had this, you had that, you lived in this beautiful home, or whatever people can say, right? Or they can say the opposite, like, girl, it's about time. It is about damn time. Like, what the hell have you been doing? Who knows? um but like I said, it's interesting to see the unraveling of things that we've been taught to believe have been so picture perfect. Um, yeah, it's very interesting, very very interesting. But I will say this: for those of these, for the women that are leaving, I can't even talk. For the women that are making these decisions, kudos to you. Um, Especially if you're in a situation where you're being abused, um, you're not being treated well, whatever, or maybe it's just time is up on that relationship, whatever it is. But particularly the ones that are being abused. Let me go back to that. The hope that you're finding a safe place to be, and that you have people in your corner that are creating safe spaces for you. Because there's so many instances where you hear about women that attempt to leave, very toxic, and unfortunately are harmed or lose their lives because the partner is just completely um, irate about the decision, and they're not able to understand that this person not doesn't want to be with them anymore. So you're praying for the safety of those that are in a position like that, for sure. And like I said, then kudos to the people who are just like, look, I have done it. This is not for me anymore, right? We need to, go our separate ways. And that's okay. Because I think too, a lot of people stay in these relationships too because of religion. And I forgot to even bring that up, but I think a lot of people's religious beliefs also keep them in this stronghold of relationships, which is rough, because it's like, dude, like, I'm pretty sure me staying in this relationship is not something that God would approve of, because I am miserable. You know what I'm saying? Miserable. And so for that too, I'm glad people are waking up to the fact that it's like, I don't have to stay in this union or whatever you want to call it because, oh, I'm going to go to hell or it's a sin or whatever people are thinking, right? So I am really, I'm happy for the folks that are making decisions that are best for them. And even beyond the white women and their, like I said, their mass exodus from their husbands, it is encouraged, at least by Leesh, I'll say by Leesh, that people make decisions that work best for them. And you can't control what other people think and feel. You have to do what's best for you. Seriously, real talk. Um, so yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things going on in the world. There's so many things we could talk about. But I was like, you know what? This is very interesting. What's happening here? Oh, the lights are out. Hell no, they got cops out here. What a job. He says the traffic cops, God bless them. I could not do that shit. Do you hear me? I would have been fired on day one, especially in this weather, as cold as it is in New York City, out here in these streets directing traffic and people just driving like they have nobody's sense anytime. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is. I'm good. I am good. Yeah, so shout out to the policeman here. God bless them. What the hell's going on there? Clearly, like I said, somebody not listening to them. And that's why I could not do that damn job. People are ridiculous. What? Anyway, guys, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad the Verizon outage was just for a few hours and not days on end. Um, guys, keep keep grounded. Know that we are all doing the best we can. Be kind, be kind, be kind. I can't stress that enough. Be kind, y'all. And listen, we will get through the everlasting month of January. I feel like this month never ends. But surprisingly, even though I say that, it's already the 21st. This is crazy. Normally, January feels like 20 years in the making. Um, but we're kind of moseying along, which I can appreciate that. Yeah, guys, let's stay grounded. Let's stay focused. Let's be kind. Um, but, don't take any shit, obviously. And we'll just keep on keeping on, y'all. I love you. And like I always say, y'all, I'll see y'all next week. All right, love you. Bye.